And this time, this is gonna be the arm part of the bunny. So double loop. You can use a single loop if you find double loops a little more difficult. So 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you want to close it, pull it inside. I'm not going to use the marker because these steps are pretty straightforward and very short. And the first stitch, the first single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So we'll reshape it. We're going to repeat this 2 more times. So you want to have 5 single crochets, steps 3 rows. 5. And then slip stitch to the next one. Perfect. And then leave some yarn for sewing later. The extra yarn in the middle, since we pulled it tight before, we're going to hide it like this. And then we're going to make the end of the arm a little more narrow by closing it in. So we left the yarn for sewing later. And then you should have 2 arms. This will be a pair. First, we're going to start with 1 leg of the bunny with a double loop and a 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And then we're going to continue with 1 single crochet and an increase. So in the first stitch, 1 single crochet, and then an increase of 2 single crochets, 2 and 1 stitch. We'll quickly mark it. One single crochet and an increase. 1 single crochet and an increase. We're going to go ahead, just single crochet all around. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to quickly mark it. And then we continue. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. And to the first stitch, we're going to slip stitch. We'll leave some yarn just in case we have to use it for sewing later. And I'm going to go ahead and hide this yarn into the inner side of this little leg. Okay? And then we're going to repeat this process again. When you are done making the other leg, by repeating from step 1 to 3, we're going to connect these 2 legs by 18 single crochets. So we're not going to go ahead and slip stitch, but just continue right away with 18 single crochets. So by connecting 1, I just started anywhere I would like to wish. 2, 3, And then I'm going to mark right here. That was the beginning of my 18 single crochets. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So make sure per one leg you have 9 single crochets. And then we're going to continue right on the other side. Since this was the first stitch, I'm going to go ahead and open it. And then continue with 1, so another 9 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you have this hole in between. That one with the extra yarn that we left before, we can sew it closed. So, oops. With the extra yarn, we're going to sew it shut. And we will hide it by just stuffing it into one of these legs. So we connected 2 legs with 18 single crochets, and we're going to have to crochet 18 single crochets for 6 more rows. So you will have total 7 rows of 18 single crochets. So we will continue 1, 2, 3. So I'm almost done with the 7th row. And then we're going to continue with the next step. So this time will be single crochet and a decrease. 1, 2, and a decrease. We'll do this 6 times, this pattern. 1 single crochet and a decrease. 1 and 2. One more time. Single crochet and a decrease. Single crochet and a decrease. And the last one. Okay, and then we can quickly take a break and then fill it up with the polyester filling. When it's plump enough, we're going to continue, close it up. So 6 decreases of single crochet. First one. First decrease. And the second one. 2. The third decrease. 3. Fourth. And then 5th. And the last one, 6th. And we'll slip stitch into the next one. Leave some yarn for sewing later. And then we'll close it up. Fastening it off. Yes. Like this. One on the head and one on the body. So we'll go with this part. One wide. and one head. We'll fasten and hide the yarn like this. Okay, and then we will start attaching the arms, the ones that we had prepared, we did from before. We'll attach the arms right next to the body, the upper part, right around here in between the head and the body. Thread, one on the arm and one on the body. Pull it tight, and then we'll hide the yarn. Maybe through the arm here. And then cut it off, and then we'll start crocheting the dress. There, one's done. We'll do it again. Leave some yarn in the front, and then 6 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 chains. Leave the yarn in the back for sewing, and you have 2 shorter straps. So we'll continue with making the dress. 16 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch. Slip stitch. And then chain 1. And there's this hole right next to the slip stitch we did. Right here, I'm going to start with single crochets. So, first single crochet, second single crochet. And I'm going to mark it. That was the first stitch. We'll go around 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then 16. And if you see, these 2 we should ignore because they're from the slip stitches we did before. And then we're going to continue with slip stitch and chain 1 again. Slip stitch into first stitch, and then chain 1. And then we'll continue doing that for another 2 rows. So I'm almost finished. These 2 are from the slip stitches, so we ignore those. I'm going to slip stitch at the first stitch before, and then chain 1. And I'm just going to directly start with double crochets, which is right in this stitch, right below It's really hard to see, but right here, I'm going to put in 5 double crochets in one stitch and then slip stitch in the next stitch. One double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, 4 double crochet, and then 5 double crochet, and then slip stitched in the next. And then we'll keep continuing. 1 double crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then slip stitch. So we'll continue doing this pattern for the next 6 times. I've done 1 and 2, so we should have 8 little red leaves on the dress. So and when you're finished, I'm just going to slip stitch. Well, we've already done the slip stitch. You can just finish like this, or I just like to slip stitch into any stitch that makes this dress look finished. So that's done. We'll organize these yarns later when we're done with sewing. And then we'll start sewing these shoulder straps. Just so it goes about here. And this way. Squeeze it in. When you're done with sewing and cleaning up the yarn, it looks something like this. And then we'll put this on for Miffy. If you squeeze it in, it fits. With the shoulder strap. And now if you want a keyring, we can attach it here, the keyring shape. Okay, with the red yarn, we're gonna put somewhere here where you think you need the keyring shape. Go through the stitch. You're gonna pull it through, make chain 1, and then single crochet. I'm doing single crochet to make it just a little more sturdy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you think you need longer keyring, you can make more chains. If you had 6 chains, you go through the next stitch and then slip stitch. Right, like this. And leave some yarn. And we'll fasten it off by sewing it tight, like this. And then hide the yarn. Also the other side. Go ahead and hide it. So it's done, and you can put maybe a flower on it and then make it into a set.